Hey guys, welcome back. I know it's Friday. I know you already had a reading, but we only have about 5 pages left. So we are going to finish this book today. It's been a wonderful book, and I can't wait to see how it ends. They're at the award ceremony. I wonder who you picked that won the award and why. So I'm going to back it up a second, and we're going to keep going. This is Mr. Tushman talking. He is the greatest, he finally continued, whose strength carries up the most hearts by the attraction of his own. Without further ado, this year I am very proud to award the Henry Ward Beecher Medal to the student whose quiet strength has carried up the most hearts. So, will August Pullman please come up here to receive this award? A lot of you, I'm sure, guessed it was him. Next chapter is called Floating. People started applauding before Mr. Tushman's words actually registered in my brain. I heard Maya, who was sitting next to me, give a little happy scream when she heard my name, and Miles, who was on the other side of me, patting my back. "Stand up, get up," said all the kids around me. And I felt lots of hands pushing me upward out of my seat, guiding me to the edge of the row, patting my back and high-fiving me. "Way to go, Augie! Nice going, Augie!" I even started hearing my name being chanted. "Augie! Augie! Augie!" I looked back and saw Jack leading the chant, fist in the air, smiling and signaling for me to keep going, and Amos shouting through his hands, "Woohoo, little dude!" Then I saw Summer smiling as I walked past her row. And when she saw me look at her, she gave me a secret little thumbs up and mouthed a silent, "cool beans" to me. I laughed and shook my head like I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I think I was smiling. Maybe I was beaming. I don't know. As I walked up the aisle towards the stage, all I saw was a blur of happy, bright faces looking at me, and hands clapping for me, and I heard people yelling things at me like, "You deserve it, Augie. Good for you, Augie." I saw all my teachers in the aisle seats, Mr. Brown and Miss Petosa and Mr. Roche and Miss Antoniba and Nurse Molly and all the others, and they were cheering for me, woo-hooing and whistling. I felt like I was floating. It was so weird, like the sun was shining full force on my face and the wind was blowing. As I got closer to the stage, I saw Miss Rubin waving at me in the front row. Next to her was Mrs. G, who was crying hysterically, a happy crying, smiling and clapping the whole time. And as I walked up on the steps of the stage, the most amazing thing happened. Everyone stood up. Not just the front rows, but the whole audience suddenly got up on their feet, whooping, hollering, clapping like crazy. It was a standing ovation for me. I walked across the stage to Mr. Tushman, who shook my hand with both of his hands and whispered in my ear, "Well done, Augie." Then he placed the medal over my head, just like they do in the Olympics, and had me turn to face the audience. It felt like I was watching myself in a movie, almost like I was someone else. It was like that last scene in Star Wars: A New Hope when Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Chewbacca are being applauded for destroying the Death Star. I could almost hear the Star Wars theme music playing in my head as I stood on stage. I wasn't even sure why I was getting this medal, really. No, that's not true. I knew why. It's like it's like people you see sometimes, and you can't imagine what it would be like to be that person, whether it's somebody in a wheelchair or somebody who can't talk. Only I know that I'm that person to other people, maybe to every single person in that whole auditorium. To me, though, I'm just me, an ordinary kid. But hey, if they want to give me a medal for being me, that's okay. I'll take it. I didn't destroy a Death Star or anything like that, but I did just get through 5th grade. And that's not easy, even if you're not me. Next chapter. Pictures. Afterward, there was a reception for 5th and 6th graders under a huge white tent in the back of the school. All the kids found their parents, and I didn't mind at all when Mom and Dad hugged me like crazy, or when Via wrapped her arms around me and swung me left and right about 20 times. Then Papa and Tata hugged me. Excuse me. And Uncle and Aunt Kate and Uncle Poe and Uncle Ben, everyone kind of teary-eyed and wet-cheeked. But Miranda was the funniest. She was crying more than anyone and squeezed me so tight that Via had to practically pry her off of me, which made them both laugh. Everyone started taking pictures of me and pulling out their flips, and then Dad got me, Summer, and Jack together for a group shot. We put our arms around each other's shoulders, and for the first time I can remember, I wasn't even thinking about my face. I was just smiling a big, fat, happy smile for all the different cameras clicking away at me. Flash, flash, click, click, flash. Smiling away as Jack's parents and Summer's mom started clicking. Then Reed and Maya came over. Flash, flash, click, click. And then Charlotte came over and asked if she could take a picture with us. And we were like, of course. And then Charlotte's parents were snapping away at our little group. And the next thing I knew, the two Maxes had come over, and Henry and Miles and Savannah, then Amos and Chin. And we were all in this big, tight huddle as parents clicked away like we were on the red carpet somewhere. Oh, only 2 more pages. I lost track of who else came over. Everybody practically. All I knew for sure is that we were all laughing and squeezing in tight against each other, and no one seemed to care if it was my face that was next to theirs or not. In fact, and I don't mean to brag here, but it kind of felt like everyone wanted to get close to me. We are on the last chapter, and it is only 2 pages. Here we go. The walk home. We walked to our house for cake and ice cream after the reception. Jack and his parents and his little brother, Jamie, Summer and her mother, Uncle Poe and Aunt Kate, Uncle Ben, Tata, and Papa, Justin and Via and Miranda, Mom and Dad. It was one of those great June days when the sky is completely blue and the sun is shining, but it isn't too hot that you wish you were on the beach instead. It was just the perfect day. Everyone was so happy. I still felt like I was floating, the Star Wars hero music in my head. I walked with Summer and Jack, and we just couldn't stop cracking up. Everything made us laugh. We were in that giggly kind of mood where all someone had to do was look at you and start laughing. I heard Dad's voice up ahead and looked up. He was telling everyone a funny story as they walked down from Amsforth Avenue. The grown-ups were all laughing too. It was like Mom always said, Dad could be a comedian. I noticed Mom wasn't walking with the group of grown-ups, so I looked behind me. She was hanging back a bit, smiling to herself like she was thinking of something sweet. She seemed happy. I took a few steps back and surprised her by hugging her as she walked. She put her arm around me and gave me a squeeze. Thank you for making me go to school, I said quietly. She hugged me close and leaned down and kissed the top of my head. Last page. Thank you, Augie, she answered softly. For what? For everything you've given us, she said, for coming into our lives, for being you. She bent down and whispered in my ear, You really are a wonder, Augie. You are a wonder. And that's it, guys. That is the end of our chapter book Wonder. We read all of this, 310 pages. It was a wonderful book. I really liked it and enjoyed it. Again, the movie, I believe, is on Hulu and Amazon Prime. If you have those at home, feel free to watch them with parents' permission, of course, because it is rated PG. What I love most about this book is that this little boy was terrified to go to school because he looked different. And even in the beginning, kids picked on him, and that's not right. So I hope what you guys take out of this is be kind to everybody. Like we always say in our classroom, be nice to everybody. If you can be anything, be kind. I think that's what this book really has taught us, that doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from, who you are, but you have to be kind. That's it. Make sure you go on, answer the last question of our chapter book Wonder, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, guys.